Hi, I here. This is a reading for the sign of Cancer. We're going to pull two cards from the Thoth deck, and that's going to represent the energy that is currently surrounding you. The card we see on the bottom of the Thoth deck is going to be your general energy. We're then going to pull 9 cards from the Hugh's Tarot deck, and we're going to turn those over slowly to see what message or story is being told here. The card that we see on the bottom of that deck is going to represent the general theme of this reading. Once we get a sense of what the story is or what messages need to come through, we're going to pull one card from the shadow deck to see what's going on in your unconscious energy, and we are going to see what's on the bottom of that deck to see what you don't see coming. So let's just see what happens. All right, so we are tuning in today to the energy of Cancer. So let's see what messages come through for anyone that is identifying or trying to tap into the energy of Cancer today. So if that's your sun, your moon, your rising sign, however you identify with the energy of Cancer, you can use that as a way to interpret the messages that are coming through today. And as always, if the messages are not resonating, take what fits, leave what doesn't. Never try to force anything. And if nothing seems to fit, you can always just stick around and see what's going on with other Cancers in the world. Or you can always check your other placements and see if there's any other messages that come through in different videos. So today, though, we are channeling the energy of the sign of Cancer. So let's get 2 cards from the Thoth deck. Okay, so we are going to pull 2 from this deck. Okay, that feels pretty good. Okay, so we'll pull 1, 2, and your general energy is the Princess of Discs. This is the power of infinite potential. This is the power of a seed that can grow into anything. This is the energy that, when nurtured, can make anything in this world possible. So that's a fantastic energy to have. Very, very positive energy. It's just a matter of figuring out what you want to do with all that potential and figuring out how to make it manifest as something in the world. But you have the sort of latent power inside to create something great out of that. And surrounding you, we have the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Wands. Okay, so we have a nice little trinity here. We have water, earth, and fire. The only thing we're missing here is some air. But what is surrounding you is the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Wands. So what that says to me is, with the Knight of Cups, this is usually some card. I mean, you've even got a little Cancer crab here. This is something that's going to take this potential that you have, and I think this is representing a person or an opportunity that is going to lift this potential into something, maybe give you an idea of what all this potential could be becoming. Whether this is some kind of offer or some kind of opportunity or a person presenting such offers or opportunities. I feel like this is really something that is going to take this potential, and like a seed, this is going to water that seed and help it to grow into something more powerful or beautiful, whatever it is that you are trying to create. This, I feel, is a person that is inspiring that growth. And I think on the other side, this is also a person that is inspiring this growth. This is the we have a father and a mother here. This is the emotional nurturing of a father figure that is going to guide you and help you find the way to grow this seed into something else, whatever that something else is. And here we have the Queen of Wands. This is the fiery energy that's going to give passion to that potential, and like the sun, help it grow. So we've got the water and we've got the light that's going to help this seed grow into a beautiful plant. This night energy, though, I think is helping guide you in the path of what it is that you want to be building or becoming or growing into. And this is what is going to be giving you the inspiration to keep working at it and to take whatever ideas are being presented to you and taking your own personal passion and putting them into something that helps you grow into something bigger and better. So again, these two things coming together with this seed is going to grow into something much larger. So let's get a sense of what that might be. So as I said, we're going to pull 9 cards from this deck here. This is the Huge Tarot deck. This is my oldest tarot deck, so it's got a personal connection for me. I got it many years ago before I knew anything about tarot. And so I've looked at these cards for many years in my life. Like I said, many of which I didn't really know what I was looking at. But I still have a really strong connection with these pictures. I really like this deck. It's like when you get an instrument, it's like your first guitar. You never forget it, even if it's not a nice one. Though I will say I do think this is a very nice deck. It's showing its age a little bit, but it's a good deck. Okay, so let's get 9 cards from here. Okay, that feels good. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the 10th is the theme of this reading. The 9 of Swords. Interesting. So we started off with this really positive idea of potential and growth. But the theme of the reading is the 9 of Swords, which is actually, that's kind of interesting. We have the water, the fire, the earth, and the air. And all of the energy from here on the bottom seems to be helping, grow this up into something positive. But it looks like the theme of this reading is the negative air energy that is pulling this back down. So there's going to be some conflict here as you're growing. This is going to probably be a story about the growing pains of you being this infinite potential and us trying to unfold what that's going to look like. In particular, I think it's going to be related to how your own anxieties of what the future might look like are going to be weighing on this opportunity of growth. So we start with the Knight of Cups, which is a little different from the Knight here. This would be really more the equivalent of the King of Cups. So this is in the Rider-Waite deck. This is a little bit of a different meaning, but still we have 2 knights here. You could almost think of this as maybe being the younger period of this knight before he became into his sort of more kingly energy, is more his power that he's helping grow this whatever thing is you're trying to build or do. But this is the initial inspiration. I feel this is someone presenting something to you that opens you up to reevaluate what it is you want to do with your time, your energy, and whatever it is that you are trying to spend your life creating or being a part of. This is that person or that thing that created that spark, but it wasn't so much of a spark so much as it was someone presenting something to you, maybe saying something or nurturing an idea that you had, and that helped fuel you and filled you with an inspiration to at least, if not maybe immediately start growing, to push towards that desire of wanting to start growing. Okay, so here we have the Queen of Swords and the 3 of Wands. So again, I think once this person or opportunity came into your life and presented you with this cup that inspired you and made you feel a certain connection with whatever it is that you enjoy or feel called to do, something was then set in motion. That's what the 3 of Wands was. And so then the question was, where do we go? What's the next stage here? And I think perhaps that might be you in this Queen of Swords energy of once this has been presented to you, you've got all this opportunity or this potential inside of you. You have this inspiration that is giving you this emotional charge to move forward with this. But then the question is, well, what do we do with this? And so you want to nurture that power that is growing inside of you, but you need to do it with a certain amount of finesse and a certain amount of clarity. So the Queen of Swords, she's nurturing. She is someone that's going to help you grow, but she's not going to mince words. She's not going to sort of beat around the bush. She's going to say this is the reality of what needs to happen and what you need to do to bring into your life whatever it is you want to bring into your life. So I think that might be the headspace you were potentially in once the inspiration has come to you. Now the idea is, well, what do I do with that inspiration? But as you're working all of this out, the wheel is already turning. With the Three of Wands, once the inspiration has sunk in, then the clock has sort of started of where this is going. And so we see on this card this woman who has stepped through the gate and is now picking up the wand to get ready to take the journey, but the journey has already begun. Okay, so now in motion with this inspiration inside of you, now the question is, what do we do with this? How do we grow? What do we you feel called for something, but maybe you don't even yet know what that calling is. And maybe that's what starts leading to this anxiety that you're dealing with that's sort of looming over this whole story. Okay, now we start to grow. Now the things that are inspiring you are starting to come into the physical world here. So with the Ace of Pentacles, this is an actual physical opportunity. So perhaps the Knight of Cups, the opportunity he presented was just an idea, just an inspiration. And you're taking that inspiration and you're internalizing it and trying to make sense of how to do this the best way possible. And so you've now progressed into the next stage of actually building in the physical world the thing you're trying to build. So this is now the planting of that seed. So you see in this card, the Princess of Disc is holding what I keep referring to as this seed, and this is that seed again, being planted now with a little bit of insight in terms of where you want to go with this. Maybe the whole path isn't clear, but again, you've walked through the gate, you have now started this process of building, and now we have Six of Pentacles energy as well, which is about balance. So again, when you're in this reflective space of trying to figure out what to do with whatever it is that's inspiring you, once you begin, then you have to refine what it is you're working with and start trying to weigh the options. Figure out, okay, with this is what I've got now, what can I do with this going forward? And usually the Six of Pentacles also has a certain amount of connotation to it that is about getting help or assistance from other people. So perhaps once you have now planted this seed, the next stage is not just figuring out what you want to do with it, but figuring out who are the other people that you can work together with to help make this thing grow into something bigger. Because you can't really do anything alone. You've been inspired, you've been contemplative about what to do with it, you've taken this leap, you're readjusting to figure out now how to make this into something else. And let's see what happens in the balance between those two is the King of Wands. So now, taking that power inside of you and really bringing that out of yourself and taking command of the inspiration that was given to you by the Knight of Cups. So as this is growing, as you're readjusting, as you're figuring out what to do with the opportunities that are arising from what you've started, this is here in the center, you coming into your power as the King of Wands, having the inspiration now coming into better focus and getting more control over how to push this thing forward. So, yeah, I'm kind of getting a vibe here of this is, I think this is you growing into this new sort of, you need more than just this potential inside of you. You also have to have the drive and the will to push that idea forward as you're creating it. And I think that's what this is here with the King of Wands. That is you pulling that energy in and really being in command of whatever it is you're trying to build here. But conflict arises when you do that, and uncertainty arises. Now we start to see why there might be a Nine of Swords here. So as you start building the thing that you're building, as you're taking your inspiration, putting it into the physical world, and letting this power of the sun and the power of being in tune and control with your own emotions, as all of that comes together and sort of, I'm not a big fan of this word, but as that synergizes into you being empowered as the King of Wands, this ruffles some feathers. I think other people around you are then going to see what you're doing and either become jealous or have different ideas about what you should be doing with whatever it is that you're trying to build. So as you come into your power, you were met with conflict, and how to resolve this conflict is not clear. So you know what you're doing, you know what you're working on, and you've got it seems to me that, again, this feels almost sort of family-like with a father and a mother and you, the child here, in the middle. You've got people around you that are helping you build what you want to build, but then there's people outside of that circle that, again, are either jealous or misunderstanding of what it is you're trying to create. So you are now trying to deal with that conflict, and I don't think you know what to do because it to me feels like you've spent time and energy in trying to produce the thing you're trying to produce, but you have not spent the time trying to justify that to other people. And honestly, you really shouldn't have to. That's not really, whenever you're trying to create or build something, I mean, unless you're trying to get assistance or some kind of like support or funding from other people, you shouldn't have to justify the thing that you're trying to create. You know, if you're not hurting anyone and you're not trying to take from anyone, just do your best making the thing you're going to make. So this is untrodden territory. This is now you having to step out, and as you have the power to be able to defend and create the things you want to create, but it's not clear how you are going to be able to do this in conjunction with other people who have differing opinions. So let's see what kind of resolution we have to that. Well, interesting. Nine of Cups. So I don't think you care. I don't really think you care what other people think. I mean, it's uncertain how this conflict is going to arise. But to see the Nine of Cups, I mean, we have the Knight of Cups, we have the King of Wands, and then we have the Nine of Cups. Right here down the center is a lot of commanding, positive. I mean, and then followed down here with the Princess of Discs. You, when centered in yourself, seem to know exactly what you need to do to make you happy. You've got the power to create what you want to create. You have the inspiration from those that love and nurture you to be inspired to do this creation in the first place. And when you really channel all of that together, you're in this super happy place of, I can do this, I got this, I have all the things I need, and I am happy and satisfied by it. But what surrounds you is seemingly a little bit less controlled. Again, we have I mean, maybe the Queen of Wands is not as much of you reflecting upon what you are doing with this. Perhaps the Queen of Wands is better thought of in line with the rest of the cards here. So we have conflict with other people that I think is arising from them seeing the new opportunities that you're creating. And this puts you in perhaps a bit of a defensive position where you are trying to nurture the things you're creating, but perhaps the sword energy that's coming from this column is you having to defend your own passions and thoughts from other people. And yeah, that'll weigh on you. Even though you may be happy in your safe, comfortable, happy place, your little bubble where, you're doing what you need to do. But you can't pretend like those external forces are not going to cut to some degree and make you feel a certain amount of pain. But you carry on, you work through the work, you adjust as you need to, and you face the unknown as best as you can. But again, there's uncertainty, and I think that uncertainty is not in your immediate surroundings, it's the external surroundings. And perhaps that puts you in a place where the thing you're concerned about is not the creation process. You seem pretty solid in the creation and being able to manifest the potential that you're channeling. But I think there's a little bit of resistance to leave your comfort zone and to put whatever that is out into the world. That's the energy I'm getting from this. So let's see if the shadow deck has anything to tell us that could be of interest. Hopefully it's of interest. So let's see what insights we can get. What's going on in your subconscious? When you are dreaming at night or lost in your thoughts, what sort of unconscious feelings and energies are affecting you? That's what our first card we're going to draw, or our only card we're going to draw from here. But let's see what that card tells us. I feel like one more good shuffle. Okay. So we'll pull one card from here. the Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups is what is going on in your subconscious. You're unconscious of this energy. So the Seven of Cups is the card of illusions. Things may not be as nice as they seem on the surface. And I think, okay, yeah, I think that is probably related to you being in this happy place in your little comfortable bubble where you are the king in this world, but you know that it's a gated kingdom. You do not have the power to stay safe and comfortable outside of that. I mean, as a Cancer, right, your sort of soft underbelly inside of your crab shell is where all of your power and your strength comes from, but it's all guarded and protected. And I think you have a little bit of an illusion in your life about just how protected you really are. You can feel this sense of security by staying in your bubble, but what you probably are going to miss out on, the illusion that is being presented to you, is I think your creativity and your happiness will eventually become more stagnant if you stay inside of this bubble. So that's the illusion, is that you feel like as long as you're staying in this space, you're going to be in this Nine of Cups energy. And you might be in that energy for a lot of the time, but that doesn't mean you're going to stay in that energy forever. So the idea here is that although things may seem perfect, as long as I stay doing what I'm doing in my little world and not facing outside the darkness to deal with this negative moon energy and these conflicting people at the gate that are just knocking on the door saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Right? Um, if you don't face up to that, eventually that Nine of Cups energy is going to start to go stale, and you'll see something that is, to me, I'm visualizing the Seven of Cups that you see in the Thoth deck, where you have cups that look nice and beautiful, but the water inside it is kind of gross and stagnant. So that's what's going to happen if you don't step out of this comfort zone. And what you don't see coming is the Death card, which means I kind of suspect that is saying that you're not really going to have a choice in terms of staying in this comfort zone. I think the growth that needs to come from this seed that's been planted, this energy that you're channeling and bringing up from the potential that you have inside of you, I think that is only going to keep growing if it's being properly fertilized. Right, you need that manure that is going to help the plants grow, and that's only going to come from uh, dealing with all of this negative energy. When you finally face these horrible things that are maybe you're subconsciously just like, I don't need to worry about it, not my problem. I don't care if there's conflicts. I don't care if there's uncertainty. It really is weighing on you whether you're being, honest with yourself or not. Um, and I think that only through dealing with that pain and those anxieties are you going to be able to actually, that's going to be the decay that comes from these putting these things finally to rest. Once you put these to rest, that dead energy will then be fuel that you can then grow from, just like when things die and decay, the new plants can grow from the remains of what was left behind. You're going to learn some lessons by dealing with these anxieties. So, you've got this inspiration that's fueling you and pushing you forward into the world and making you want to do great things, but you can't stay in your comfort zone. You've got to step out of that, face the obstacles that are ahead. And I mean, again, with the Three of Wands energy, I think this is already in motion anyways. Once you began creating, you sort of set in motion the inevitability of having to deal with these conflicts. But you're surrounded by really nice energy, right? You've got this fatherly and motherly energy that is helping you grow as the seed into something better. Yes, there are anxieties, but you can face those anxieties with the people that are in your support system, and that's going to help you really reach the true Nine of Cups potential that you can have by expanding on what you currently have. So I hope this was helpful. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that some message in here came through that is going to help you with whatever you're dealing with, or at the very least, I just hope you enjoyed this experience. As always, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment if you have anything to share or say about anything that was mentioned here. And if you know anyone else that might enjoy these videos, please share them on whatever platforms you frequently use. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.